Hello, everyone, and this is my. It's me, Alan. This is my room. I'm in my Grinch jammies, and I'm here to give you what you've all been waiting for. Possibly around on the time I started making the whatever thing. My pre-show story that I made when I was in high school. Cool. And I want to thank my high school teacher, Miss Isley, for printing this out for me. And wherever she is, I thank her. Okay, so without further ado, here's the story. And and since I'm not going to be putting any visuals anywhere, I'm just gonna have to let you visualize it. Okay, here he goes. Alan the Chipmunk, Alan's First Adventure by Alan Cox. Okay. A long time ago in a forest, there's two separate chipmunk tribes were having a feud on what animal was best in the world. One tribe loved of birds while the other tribe loved ponies. The bird-loving chipmunks had artificial wings and made from feathers of the eagles of modern-day America, and wore headbands with eagle feathers. The pony-loving chipmunks had artificial pony hind legs and wore horseshoes on their feet and also fezzes, cause why not? Both tribes had a few wars but ended up having endless draws. Despite all the hatred, there was one couple from both tribes who loved each other. One bird lover named Kylie and one pony lover named Jerem. They met at a huge apple tree between the two territories. One day they decided to tighten their bond as lovers with a secret ceremony. Then Kylie placed a row of birdseed in a circle while Jerem placed a red apple in the middle of the circle. Then they sat down, held both their hands together and closed their eyes. The wind blew across their heads and with the beat of their hearts. When they opened their eyes, they glanced at each other and had their first kiss. Thus being secretly married from their separate tribes, sort of like Romeo and Juliet, but they end up living instead of dying. A few weeks later, a little girl named Emily Miller, who was the granddaughter of a recently deceased female scientist named Emily Miller, who was looking for her first experiment. She spotted the tree where Kylie and Germ were hanging out. They looked like the perfect subjects for Emily's experiment. Then Emily grabbed a burlap sack and grabbed Kylie and Germ. Then Emily snatched both their parents and went back to her laboratory. 2 hours later, Emily explained the whole thing to them, and they agreed right away. Emily tested their knowledge, memory, and manners. Once all that was done, Emily showed them a portal of change. Once they went through the portal, their appearance changed. Kylie was a housewife while Germ was a pipe-smoking husband. Their parents didn't approve of their appearance or relationship at first, but they got used to it after 2 days. Kylie and Germ were married in public to make it official. Then Emily tested the mating ritual of the newlywed couple. 9 months later, the results of the ritual were about to be born. Three children shot out from the womb, and they were nothing but three balls with tails. Then the three balls wiggled and popped up to their limbs and bodies out. They were three healthy young newborn chipmunks. Two of them had horns, while the third one didn't. One had two horns, while the other one had only one. Emily thought it was a calculation error and went into a deserted island and placed the one with only one horn on the sand and ran away. They kept the ones that represented the good and bad. Emily stuck around to study the two chipmunks as they grew. The hornless one was named Alan, while the two-horned one was named Jeremy. Alan was the nicest of the two, while Jeremy was the worst. Alan and Jeremy had accidents from time to time, but Jeremy was always the one who got punished. Alan was always forgiven for his accidents, and Jeremy got jealous of Alan getting all the love. His powers were nearing a point of intolerance that I'd bet no one has ever reached at a certain age. One day, Alan and his family were on a camping trip. Alan and Jeremy were setting up a tent, and while Kylie and Jerem prepared the picnic table. Was that at step 3 or 5? Asked Alan, getting confused. I think it was 3, Alan, said Jeremy, reading the manual. 2 seconds later, Alan was trying to find out where the middle stick goes. Boys, lunch is ready, said Kylie. Then Alan got excited and accidentally scratched Jeremy's left eye with the tent pole. Or is it his right eye, depending on how you look at it. Ow! Oh, Alan, you dummy, you scratched my eye. Hey, Mom, Dad, Alan scratched my eye on purpose, said Jeremy in pain. Then Kylie and Jerem ran over to Jeremy as he was on the ground. Alan, you wonderful boy. You did really well, said Jerem as he picked up Alan. Yeah, we are so proud of you. Unlike your brother, Jeremy, who doesn't deserve our love, said Kylie. Then Jeremy got up with pent-up anger. His eye was pitch black, his pupil was blood red, and he had a scar over his eye. After Jeremy, he saw Alan getting more love. Of the anger in his dark soul snapped out. Then Jeremy burst in anger. All right, that's it. I've had enough of all this. You two morons have always punished me. Why not punish Alan for once, for a change? He scratched my eye with the tent pole. Punish him, said Jeremy with a demonic voice out of anger. Now, Jeremy, I'm sure your brother didn't mean to do it on purpose, said Kylie. Alan, it is a dummy. You who think he likes blaming me for all of his accidents? Asked Jeremy. Yes, said Jerem. Then Jeremy me roared like a demonic Carnotaurus. This, it stepped on a nail. Then Jimmy's anger got even worse, causing his heart to literally turn purplish black color. Then Jimmy got done with his mental breakdown and started to walk away. Next time you see me, Alan, I'll show you a world of pain. I'll show you no mercy. I will have my revenge. This means war, said Jimmy. Then, and Jimmy walked away in anger. Then Emily came out of the bushes in disappointment. Well, that kid's a failure, said Emily. Hold on. Okay, I'm back here. Okay, now where was I? Oh, yes. 2 minutes later, Alan and his parents were at Emily's laboratory for a eating in her office. Emily, we're so sorry about Jeremy. I never knew that his feelings were so bad about Alan, said Kylie. No, it's not your fault, it's mine. I didn't know he was the real calculation error, or not that unicorn or chipmunk named Colby. Besides, my lawyer told me if there were any problems with my project, it'll have to be shut down. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to let you go. Oh, said Emily. You can't fire us. We quit, said Germ. You just walked right into that one, and that's why you guys aren't ready to be out in the human world without a simple education on how the world works, said Emily. Don't worry, Emily. We'll be fine out in the big world. We'll prepare Alan for a battle in case Jemmy returns, said Kylie. Yeah, and we'll find a nice house to live in with enough storage space, good property values, nice neighbors, and most importantly, enough to last for lots of adventures to come, said Germ. I don't know, your son Alan will need a good training and a lot of inspiration. You need to find good mentors for your son, said Emily. Don't worry, Alan will have no trouble at all, said Kylie. Sorry about that. Then Alan and his parents went to go find a house and found a nice house 2 hours later. Alan had lots of mentors. Some of them were cartoon characters, while the rest of them were video game characters. Alan had a lot of training with the characters to help them battle against his brother whenever he returns for revenge. 18 years later, Alan was in his teen years and attending high school. Well, he was nearing his destiny of making things right in the world and hoping that Jeremy wasn't thinking of a plan to eradicate him. One day, Alan was sitting in front of his parents as they had an announcement for him. Alan, my son, you have the equal power of every speed runner, flyer, and wacky skills that any cartoon or video game character in the world, but your training is not yet complete. You must learn the way of friendship, for it is the way of defeating your new enemy, namely your brother Jamie, said Kylie. But Mom, how will I learn about friendship? I don't have many friends besides all those cartoon characters and video game characters? Said Alan as an 18-year-old teen. Now, friendship is the true power in any television show or movie that's popular today. Besides, I'm sure you'll find the right friends to help you. But for right now, live a nice teenage life as you normally would. You know, do that stuff if me or your father don't know about being being my boy for a little longer, and lots of other stuff that teens do these days, said Kylie. Yeah, probably. Yeah, and probably find a girlfriend, and because as I doubt we'll be able to live forever, despite it that the average chipmunk lives up to 3 years at least, and despite it that chipmunk parents leave their child after a week. Oh wait, I just realized that mutant chipmunks live forever. Will always be a family, despite having a son who has a disowned brother. I forgot, said Germ. Germ, don't you think that comment is a bit pathetic to our problems? Asked Kylie. No, not really, said Germ. Well, if having friends is what it helps me get a victory, I'll find the best friends that I could possibly befriend, said Alan. That's the spirit, Alan, said Kylie. I hope this little talk has helped, said Germ. It really has, Dad. Thanks for believing in me, guys, said Alan. We believed in you since you were born, Alan. Now go have fun with your mentors while we prepare a luncheon feast for all of us, said Kylie. Yes, Mom, said Alan. Then Alan went outside to get went outside and went to go see his mentors. 1 hour later, Alan was returning home from playing with his mentors, and he saw a big gaping hole in the middle of the front of the house. Oh, when Alan saw that the place was a mess, he knew something was wrong. Then Alan saw a note on the couch. The note said, Alan, I have taken my parents to my new fortress. It's by the east side of town. Oh, you're never gonna see them again. And you fathead. If you who don't give yourself up, I'll murder the parents. And I'd like to see you try to take them back if you can. Your evil brother, Jamie. When Alan finished reading the note, he got triggered and decided to go rescue his parents. 3 hours of walking later, Alan arrived at Jamie's new fortress. It had a lot of dangerous stuff that no one could ever use in a school in Iraq. Then Alan walked in the fortress and tried to find Jamie. Hey, Jamie, I'm here. You better give back our parents, said Alan. Then Alan somehow found Jamie's living room. Oh, Alan, it's so good to see you. So happy to see you again, Not. And they're not our parents, they're mine. And I'll make 'em love me more than you, said Jamie as a teenager. How? Oh, asked Alan. I'll be doing the one thing that you would never do. I shall take over the world, said Jamie. Then a lightning effect appeared as Jeremy did an evil laugh for a few seconds. Isn't there a whole lot of villains who tried to take over the world at least a few times? Ames asked Alan. Not the point, Alan. And what is important is that I'll make the parents proud, and they'll forget it all about you after I dispose of you before my plan takes place. So, Alan, any last words before I shoot you with my laser horns? In case you're asking, yes, I can shoot lasers out of my horn. I discovered it last week when I was asleep. The devil, in his many adaptations, gave me the power to shoot lasers out of my devilish horns. And with that backstory aside, any last words? Asked Jamie. Alan was asleep because of that boring story about the devil. Then Alan woke up. Huh? What? I'm sorry. What did you say? Something about how boring you are? Asked Alan. I'm not explaining it again, Alan. Prepare to be eradicated, said Jamie. Then, Jamie tried to shoot Alan with his laser horns, but Alan dodged the laser and leapt to safety, which is exactly what Jamie wanted him to do, for he had a circle bounce pad under the place where Alan was standing. Then Jimmy pulled a lever with an evil grin and laughed like a madman. And then the bounce pad went off and sprung Alan to another area entirely. Meanwhile, on a desert island, and a one-horned chipmunk named Colby, who was dropped off by Emily years ago, was living a happy life in a comfy little lean-to, which is a shelter built with a bunch of sticks and a fallen log. He ate the food on the island, such as coconuts, bananas, and fish. He couldn't talk because he didn't have anyone else to talk to. Many of the island animals were very wary of Colby because none of them saw such an animal before. Then Alan fell from the sky and landed in the wet sand. Then Colby noticed Alan in the wet sand. Colby has never seen him for a long while, despite not having much memory of him since Emily took him to the island. And man, I really wasn't ready to take on Jeremy. I need to find some other friends and find a way home. Just need some time to think, said Alan as he brushed off the sand from his body. Colby had heard hasn't heard a speaking sound before. Or then Colby tried to get Alan's attention, but he couldn't find his speaking voice. Then Alan noticed Colby sitting behind him and felt amazed that he found another chipmunk. Then when Alan saw the horn on Colby's head, he knew that Colby isn't an enemy. Hello? Oh, said Alan. Then Colby felt frightened and hid in his lean-to. Hey, wait a minute, I don't want to hurt you, come on out, said Alan. Then Colby stuck his head out. Then, there we go. Oh, hey, what do you think about evil people? Asked Alan. Then Colby hid back in. Yeah, that makes my head hide too. Ooh, what do you think about who empathetic people? Well, asked Alan. Then Colby peeked out a little. I know, kind of, right? I especially like the empathetic women, said Alan. Then Colby came out of his lean-to. Wow, you are a great listener. My brother Jeremy never listens to me. He thinks he deserves my parents' love. Of, you know what I'm saying? Asked Alan. Then Colby nodded his head up and down a little, but nodded left and right. He kind of the yes and no things. Yeah. You don't talk much, do you? Do you have a name? What's your name? Asked Alan. Then Colby tried to speak. Hello, my name is Colby. Can I help you? Asked Colby as he talked for the first time. Oh, you can talk. Do you know where you live? Asked Alan. I live out here. A woman dropped me off here after I was born. I had two brothers, said Colby. What are their names? Asked Alan. Alan and Jeremy, said Colby. Oh, really? I'm Alan. I also have a brother named Jeremy, said Alan. Does he have two horns? Asked Colby. Yes, hold on. Are you my other brother? Asked Alan. I don't know, you tell me, said Colby, holding a baby picture. The baby picture had the three brothers sitting together. I had that picture since I was that exact age. I don't know how old. I have no idea how old I am now. Oh, said Colby. How old do you think I am? Asked Alan. Whenever whatever age you started high school in, said Colby. 18. I'm 18 years old. Well, said Alan. Oh, that means me and Jeremy are also 18, said Colby. Yeah, that sounds about right, said Alan. And so, how's everything going since I was brought here? Asked Colby. Jeremy turned evil after I scratched his eye with a tent pole. I trained my whole life in case he returned. And he has taken my parents, and I tried to get him back, but he sprung me to this island, said Alan. And I see you didn't get hurt from the fall, said Colby. Yeah, I know. Oh, it's because it's very impossible for me to get hurt. It's also impossible for me to catch any known diseases. Even diseases discovered in the future. Said Alan. A couple of years earlier, Alan was at the doctor's office to see if he had any that he was able if he was able to catch any diseases. So, do I have any diseases, doctor? Asked Alan. No, it appears that you are immune to any immune to all known diseases, including some unknown disease called COVID-19. Don't know what it's about, but all your medical tests are negative. You'll be just fine, said the doctor. Wow, thanks, said Alan. You're welcome. Next time, go to a vet. I'm not an animal doctor, said the doctor. But your diploma said, but your diploma was from an animal medical school, said Alan. Then the doctor ran away, out of awkwardness. So, Colby, have you ever thought of leaving this place? Asked Alan. Well, I have tried to make a raft out of wood, but I can't seem to know how to make it, said Colby. Here, Colby, let me show you how to make a raft, said Alan. Then Alan pulled out a crafting bench and placed it in front of Colby. Oh, are we playing tic-tac-toe now? Oh, asked Colby. No. Oh, this is a crafting bench. Anyway, first, you need to make a shovel out of wood, said Alan. Then Alan placed these two sticks in the middle and placed the wood block in the top middle. Well, then the wood shovel popped together. Then you place the remaining five wood blocks in a boat-like shape and place the shovel in the middle. Oh, said Alan. Then Alan placed the wood blocks in the crafting bench and placed the shovel in between the two top wood blocks. Then the raft popped together, and that's how you make a raft from wood, said Alan as he picked up the raft. Wow, amazing, said Colby. Now let's get off this island and defeat Jeremy, said Alan as he placed the raft into the water. But wait, I can't leave my stuff, said Colby. Okay, bring it with you then, said Alan as he got into the raft. Okay, then Colby packed up his necessities that he had on the island with him. When Colby got done packing, he got on the raft with Alan. Then they departed the island to get back home. Okay, I'm gonna take a small break, get a little water in my system, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back now. Okay, back to the story. 3 hours later, they were still sailing. They fed on Colby's food supply for a while. Then they found dry land after they ran out of food. Sorry about that. When they got to the shore, it wasn't America, it was Britain. I think we made a wrong turn somewhere, said Colby. You think? Asked Alan. Then they got off the raft and went exploring. Wow, Britain looks amazing, said Colby. Yeah, I know. Even the people here speak great, said Alan. I'll be home by tea time, love, said the British man. All right, dear, said the British woman. And they kind of sound like the 1600s English people, said Alan. Then Alan and Colby saw a female little chipmunk named Helen. She was late for her job interview at court to become a lawyer. Then Helen accidentally tripped and bumped into Colby and Alan. Oh my golly! I am terribly sorry, sir, said Helen in a hurry. Hurry. Yes, hurry. Don't worry, madam. It's all right. What's the rush? Asked Alan. I'm late for my job interview. If I don't get the job, my mother will kick me out of the house, said Helen. Well, I think I know how you'll get the job without leaving this part of Britain, said Alan. You do? Asked Helen. Yeah, one moment please, said Alan. Then Alan pulled out a door and opened it. Colby, you stall her until I call you, said Alan as he went inside the door. Then Alan closed the door behind him. Colby did not know what to say to Helen. He was a little shy. So, I'm Colby. Nice to meet you, said Colby as he got nervous. Charmed, said Helen. Okay, said Colby. 3 minutes later, Alan was ready to let Colby and Helen in. Okay, Colby, you can come in now, said Alan said Alan from behind the door. Then and Colby and Helen went inside the door, but when they got inside, there was an office on the other side of the door. What in the world? How is this room here? It's just a door on the outside, but it's bigger on the inside. Talk about Doctor Who, said Helen. Come forward, madam, said Alan in a chair. Then Helen walked over to the desk. Tell me your name, please, said Alan. Helen, my name is Helen, said Helen. I'm Alan, pleased to meet you. Have a seat, please, said Alan. Here, Helen, let me help you, said Colby as he pulled out a chair. Oh, thank you, said Helen as she sat down on the chair. Then Colby pushed Helen in. May I see your resume, please? Asked Alan. Yes, I have it right here, said Helen as she pulled out her resume. Thank you, said Alan as he took the resume. You're welcome, said Helen. Then Alan looked through Helen's resume and spotted a few things. Okay, I have a few questions for you. So, have you been committing crimes within the last few years? Asked Alan. Well, I was in rehab for 2 months to stop me from stealing $1 million from a bank, but I grew out of the crime life, despite my problems at home, said Helen. Hold on, I'm getting a bit stuffy again. I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, I'm back now, and, okay. That's a bit bad. Next question. How good are you at confrontation? Asked Alan. Well, to be truly honest, I know, this has nothing to do with your question, but I was in a talent show years ago, and I wrote a poem. It was way before I had my glasses. I couldn't see pretty well. When it was my turn, I found out I was reading a grocery list for my lunch. My mother brought me my poem and my lunch. I didn't remember what I ate, but all I knew that it was as the fetus of a rat. I know that's gross, but not to worry. It made me puke and poop at the same time. The audience was laughing their heads off. It resulted in a bad case of stage fright. Yeah, that's the correct term, I guess I'll go with. It was the most unforgettable thing I have ever witnessed. It started my crime spree for a while until I was in rehab. So no, I'm not good at confrontation, audience-wise, said Helen. Okay, last question. Are you good? How good are you at fighting for friendship? Asked Alan. Well, Well, I used to have a friend in preschool, way before my incident, and her name was Jenny. She moved away a few months later. Her mother was sick, and her father got a job in Mexico. Oh, I never saw her again, and she and I were great friends, though, said Helen. You know, while we are on the subject about school, my author knows a mental pig who recites 8 lines from television unshamelessly. He looked like she was high on grass, and not at the good kind. She is really insufferable. Good thing my author didn't include that weirdo in this story, or else there would have been a lot explaining to do, said Alan. Okay, so, do I get the job? Up, asked Helen. Well, do you fight for friendship? Asked Alan. Well, yes, I'm very gifted in fighting. My mother taught me karate and gymnastics. I'm also a good multitasker. I can do taxes, be a good lawyer. I'm a good notary, a good assistant, you name it. I can do anything, said Helen. Well, you got the job. Congrats, said Alan. If any senior or high school students are watching this, just do not tell any long stories about your life. Or if your employer, do not hire anyone who has committed crimes within their lifetime. The more you know, said Colby. Very good lessons indeed. 3 minutes later, Alan and Colby were about to set course to America, but Helen arrived before they sailed off. Hold on, guys, coming aboard, said Helen. What? You can't come with us, said Alan. Yeah, you who have a home here, said Colby. Actually, when I told my mother I went to a different interview, she kicked me out. Oh, so that's why I'm going with you. I'll serve my job well, said Helen. Well, in that case, hop in, said Alan. Then Helen hopped into the raft. Raft. Which way is America, Helen? Asked Alan. Ooh, my first job is as a first mate. How cool. Okay, America is west from this spot, said Helen. Okay, Colby, full speed west, said Alan. Then Colby rowed the raft, and they sailed off to America. Meanwhile, back in Jemmy's evil fortress, Jemmy was plotting a plan to take over the world. He decided to make a huge robot army with the chipmunk tribes from years earlier, who have been at peace since Emily took Kylie and Germ. Jeremy was determined to make the parents proud of him, but they kept refusing to accept Jeremy as their son again. And Jeremy has a stepfather and a wife and a best friend, but they're not in the story due to copyrights. Mother and father, look at my army I have made. I promise you that I will make you both proud, whether you like it or not. You'll come around eventually, said Jeremy. Jeremy, you do know who you used me and your father's tribes from years ago, right? He'd asked Kylie. Yes, I know. Oh, isn't it awesome? Asked Jammy. No, said Germ. Then Jammy's horns glowed bright red. And Jammy me shot a laser at the cage that Kylie and Germ were in, and it causing it to melt the bars. Someone get my parents a new cage, please, said Jammy. Then Jammy went in, in to see how the robot testing was coming along. Mr. Jammy, sir, this robot is broken. What should we do? Asked the worker. You who know what to do? Who unroboticize it and start over? Said Jammy. Yes, sir, said the worker. Then Jammy decided to who look at his vision and on his dominated world when it's finished. After my army is done, I'll take over the world with my parents by my side. Let's just hope my brother Alan had a very nasty fall when I sprung him to another part of the world, causing him to be he dead instantly, said Jammy. Then Jammy went back to his room and tried to convince Kylie and Germ how evil his plan was. Meanwhile, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, Alan, Colby, and Helen were still sailing towards America. If we land in Boston, can we throw some tea into the ocean? Asked Helen. No, we're not reenacting the Boston Tea Party. Trust me, it already happened way before today, said Alan. Wow, you had history class, didn't you? Speaking of tea, it's 4 p.m. It's tea time! Helen, said Helen as she pulled out a teapot at 3 cups. That's a sugar bowl, milk, honey, and crumpets. Then Helen had a tea party with Colby. So, Helen, not to break character or anything, but does this count as a date night? Asked Colby. It's 4 in the afternoon, but yes, said Helen, as she sipped up her tea. Then Alan spotted the shores of North Carolina. Land ho's, full speed ahead, said Alan. Then Colby rowed faster while sipping tea. Then the raft crashed into the sandy shores of North Carolina. Guys, I think my brain just caught up with the American time slot. I'm gonna have to break out my British time slot in order to live here, said Helen. Well, at least we're home, right, Alan? Asked Colby. Yup, we are, said Alan as he got up and brushed off the sand from his body. So where are we going from here? Asked Helen. Alan is trying to feed our brother Jammy, who stole our parents, said Colby. Okay, for some reason I don't think it's what I had in mind when Alan said fighting for friendship, but okay. Sorry about that, said Helen. Okay, guys, let's get you trained for the battle, said Alan. Alan took Colby to a statue in front of the school. Okay, Colby, I know this isn't part of the story, but there's someone I really want you to meet. She can train you to put your little horn to good use. Said Alan. But that's a statue, said Colby. It's about the statue. There's a portal on the base of the statue that leads to another world. Just go through it. through the portal and ask for someone with a horn but no wings, said Alan. Okay, but what's the name of this someone? Asked Colby. Then and Alan whispered the name of the someone to Colby's ear to avoid copyright. Okay, Alan, I'll be right back before you can say horseshoe, said Colby. Then Colby went through the portal. Horseshoe, said Alan. Then Alan trained Helen in to master her abilities, even though she was kind of already good at them to begin with. 3 hours later, sorry, I had to catch my breath. Been reading a little while. 3 hours later, Alan and Helen picked Colby up. Then Colby went back to who went back through the portal. Wow, there was a lot of talking ponies. The reason I said that was because of fair use. The talking ponies belong to Hasbro, said Colby, breaking the fourth wall. So Colby, how was the magic training? Asked Alan. I found the someone you were talking about, and she helped me train. She was really gifted. I tell you that. It said Colby. So Alan, we're ready. You need to go defeat your brother, right? Asked Helen. Yes, but we must work as a team. My mom told me that friendship makes a victory, said Alan. Okay, Alan, we'll follow the way of that your mom told you to do, said that mom told you to do, said Colby. Like fish following a hook, said Helen. All right, hey guys, to Jimmy's fortress, said Alan. Which way? Asked Colby. East of town, said Alan. Then Alan, Colby, and Helen went into Jimmy's fortress for a showdown. When they got there, it was just as bad as how Alan got there the first time. I know, guys, it's ugly enough, but look at the location, said Alan. Alan? And I forgot to tell you this, but I think I accidentally left my kettle on at home, said Helen as she got nervous. Oh, and I think I forgot my lean-to back at the island, said Colby as he also got nervous. Don't be a bunch of babies. It'll be short and sweet. Like one of those shows that go camera up, camera down, French song, the end. And blah, 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 blah. Then Alan, Colby, and Helen went inside the fortress. They were ready for battle and waited for something to happen. Then Jemmy walked out of the bathroom and saw them in the hallway. What in the world? How many times do I have to terminate you, Alan? And who are these two dummies? How did you get back here? Answer me, said Jemmy in anger. Jemmy, you're asking way too many questions. And to answer the first one, you're never terminating me ever. And these are my new friends. This is our brother Colby, of course, and of course his girlfriend Helen. And said Alan. Wait, who said I was Colby's girlfriend? And asked Helen. I did just now. Said Alan. And, I guess that's reasonable, said Helen. Listen, Alan, why don't you get get yourself punished before you hurt yourself. Kind of an oxymoron. Asked Jeremy. I know someone who deserves a spanking, and it's not me or my friends. You, said Alan. See, you are always blaming me. You are always to blame for every accident that you cause. That's it. That's exactly why you should be punished instead of me, said Jamie. Accidents? You kept you keep blaming me for your troubleness, mainly because you always do stuff on purpose, said Alan. All right, that did it. Time for you to taste the power of Jeremy, 'cause that's me, said Jemmy as he got triggered. Oh yeah? You and what army? There's 3 of us, and only 1 of you. Ooh, said Colby. Then Jemmy called out his robot army, and they all assembled. Then Alan, Colby, and Helen got nervous instantly. Okay, like I said, there's 3 of us and there's 1, 2, 3, said Colby. Did you count that one? Asked Helen. I think there's too many to count. Said Alan. Will you robots stop moving around and quit screaming? I can't count all of you when you were all scattered like that, said Colby in anger. Wow, not to break character, but that's the first time that Colby has lost his temper about something, said Alan. Actually, his second. He and I had a fight because he didn't want to meet my mother, said Alan. I didn't say I didn't want to meet your mother. I just didn't want to waste a whole chunk of this story on meeting her, said Colby. Are you guys done? Asked Jeremy. Yeah, we had to get this character-breaking moment out of the way, said Alan. Okay, back to the story, said Jeremy. Then Jeremy tried to shoot a laser at Alan, Colby, and Helen, but they jumped out of the way. Then Alan, Colby, and Helen attacked the robots. That's causing them to turn back into the chipmunk tribe. Alan's been jumped on 29 robots. Colby used his magic to slam 33 robots against each other, and Helen karate chopped 46 robots. That 29 plus 33 plus 64 equals 126. Wow, that must have been a huge army of robots. There must have been that many chipmunks in that tribe too. Oh well, back to the story. When Alan, Colby, and Helen got done destroying the robot army, Jemmy clapped slowly with a grin on his face. I hope you're applauding your own downfall, Jemmy, because that's what's happening. You're going down, said Alan. Oh, please, Alan, do you really think you can defeat me? You're wrong. I'm more powerful than you. I'm better than you. I deserve more love than you. You wouldn't know true power if it kicked you into your system, said Jammy. Then Alan's true power kicked into his system, like Jammy said. Then and Colby and Helen's true powers was kicked into their systems also. I may not know power, but but I have more power than you ever have. This is my power, the power of friendship, and we're using it to protect my parents," said Alan, as he used his true power. "So that's how it's gonna be. Well, two can play this game," said Jamie. Then Jamie unleashed his evil power and turned into a demonic Carnotaurus. The battle was on. Jamie blasted a fire laser from his mouth, but Alan, Colby, and Helen dodged it. Then Alan, Colby, and Helen spin jumped and hit Jamie in the face. Then Alan, Colby, and Helen bounced up right off like pinballs as they hit Jamie from every direction. Jamie tried to attack them, but they were too fast and too hard to catch. Then Alan, Colby, and Helen stopped bouncing around. Jamie felt exhausted, but he wasn't giving up yet. Then Alan, Colby, and Helen spin jumped towards him and to get the final blow to the weak spot in Jamie's chest. Then Jamie ran towards and tried to attack them. Then Alan, Colby, and Helen hit the weak spot in Jamie's chest, causing the whole fortress to explode and defeated Jamie instantly. The tribe of chipmunks got away safely before the explosion. The cage that Kylie and Jerem were in melted from the explosion. "Well, that was a huge explosion," said Jerem. "We're free, but where's our baby?" asked Kylie. Then Jerem saw Alan, Colby, and Helen on the ground. Honey, there they are," said Jerem. Alan, Colby, and Helen passed out from the explosion. "Oh no, my baby," said Helen as she got worried. And they ran over to Alan, Colby, and Helen and to see if they were all right. "Oh, Alan, speak to me. Are you okay?" he asked Kylie. Then Alan, Colby, and Helen woke up instantly. "Wow, that was awesome," said Alan. "Oh, thank goodness. Yes, you're alive," said Kylie. "You had us worried," Alan, said Jerem. "It's all right, Mom and Dad," said Alan. And as he was back to normal. "Who knew friendship was so powerful?" said Colby. "Oh, Colby, I didn't see you." "Who there?" said Kylie. "Yeah, we couldn't recognize you because as you looked like Alan and a little. Despite you, who Alan and Jeremy looked alike anyways," said Jerem. "Well, at least you know, Colby, you two blokes have never seen me before," said Helen. "Oh yeah, who are you?" asked Kylie. I'm Helen. I'm a friend of your son," and said Helen. "Whoa, you are so short. Are you from around here?" asked Jerem. "No, I'm from Britain, but I don't plan to go back home anytime soon," said Helen. "Why, Helen?" asked Kylie. "Because I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with the love of my life," said Helen. Then Helen kissed Colby. Then Colby jumped for joy like a lover boy. Then Colby stopped jumping and hugged Helen. "Woo, I love it when she loves me," said Colby, hugging Helen. "Okay, I'm gonna stop a bit because I'm a bit sweaty. Be right back." Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna finish this. Okay, well, I guess as we have two more mouths to feed, said Germ. "Yeah, and I think Jemmy isn't gonna be moving a muscle. Oh, he should stay hey, like this from this moment on, and said Kylie as she looked at Jeremy's burnt body. Hey, Mom, and said Alan. Yes, Alan? And asked Kylie. I learned the power of friendship, so what happens now? Asked Alan. Only time will tell, Alan. Oh, and Alan? Asked Kylie. Yeah? Yes, asked Alan. Don't forget the last person who learned the power of friendship, said Kylie. What happened? Asked Alan. He lived happily ever after, said Kylie. Then Alan hugged his mom. Then Alan, his parents, Colby and Helen, went home and lived happily ever after. The end. So yeah, that concludes the pre-show story that I've been meaning to get about after a little while. This is my New Year's present to you. So Happy New Year, and Bazinga goes to my high school teacher, Ms. Isley. Okay. See you all next year when I do all of my other stuff. Do my other video stuff. See you next time. Ta-ta for now. Alan signing out.